Hey y'all, GetMeowth here. Hope y'all are doing well. The new expansion is coming, Ashes of Outland, and that means the super exciting card reveal season is upon us. Oh, it's my favorite time, that and theory crafting. They've already revealed a ton of new cards with their announcement stream, plus they're going really ham with the card reveals. So most of them are for a new class, which is but because there's so many new cards being revealed, I'm going to spend a lot less time analyzing them for this card review than I normally do, like I have for previous expansions. And so what that means is I probably am going to miss some things that are not super obvious. So if you have ideas or comments about specific cards that I don't mention in this video, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, okay? And so just a moment to sell out before we get started. Make sure you guys sub here on YouTube if you guys enjoy the content. We've got tons of new videos coming out your way. And make sure you hit that bell for notifications for when those new videos do go live. I'm also streaming 6 to 7 days a week during this really weird time of our lives. So if you're looking for some live wild gameplay, make sure you guys head on over to twitch.tv/getmeowth and drop a follow there so that you guys know when I go live. Alright, sell it over. Let's go ahead and dive on in. So let's start with the Demon Hunter cards that have been revealed already. And so these are the cards. The first set of cards that I'm going to talk about are the ones that are revealed that you're going to open in your packs as part of the expansion. Okay? Alright, so let's start off Spectral Sight. So this is basically 2 mana draw 2, which is really good. Alright? We pay 2 mana for 1 draw card in a lot of combo decks, right? We run Novice and Loot Hoarders. So this card is pretty freaking strong. Furious Felfin. So this is basically a 3 mana 4/2 with Rush. It's pretty strong, but not bonkers strong. So it's a really decent answer to something like Totem Golem on curve. So this is probably one of the last cards that you might slot into a Wild Demon Hunter deck, like the 29th or 30th card. So it's strong, but not crazy busted, so it shouldn't be an auto-include. Next up, we have Skull of Gul'dan. Speaking of pretty busted, so this is 5 mana draw 3, which is giving me like Nourish vibes before it was nerfed, which is already pretty good value. But then if you outcast it, which is that new mechanic for this Demon Hunter class, basically, like if you top deck it in an aggressive odd Demon Hunter build, for example, not only are you drawing 3, you're discounting those 3 cards for 3 mana each, which means not only are you gaining a ton of resources, you're also getting a large amount of tempo with discounted mana cost for when you play them. I think this card is really good and should see a lot of play. Next up, we've got Imprisoned Anteum. This is, I have my doubts about the dormant cards in general. And so waiting 2 turns in Wild to do anything is usually a death trap. I will say though, most of the decks in my face in Wild, that's probably going to be a problem. So kind of makes it weird for a control deck. Maybe it's okay in an aggressive deck, right? With this dealing damage to all enemies, which means it can go face. So that's why I think it's a little bit better in an aggressive deck. But being in an aggressive deck, you don't really want to do a 5 mana no impact on the board, so I don't think this card will see play. Next up, we've got Pit Commander. So without a reliable way to cheat out demons like Warlock has with Sense Demons, Void Color, and Sack Pact, I don't really know if this can see a ton of play because it's really expensive. Okay? But the text is super powerful. Recruiting and cheating mana and cheating demons from your deck, we know already is stupid powerful. Yay, more recruit effects. I honestly hope this doesn't see play. And I don't think it will, actually, unless Demon Hunter gets more reliable ways to cheat out their demons. Alright, next up we've got Warglaives of Azzinoth. So this is basically a Fool's Bane that can hit face. I don't foresee a lot of board battles if Priest and Mage don't get nerfed in the near future. So I don't foresee this card seeing play. But this card could be pretty good against even Shaman, maybe a little bit of Odd Rogue or like Galakron or Pirate Warrior. But I think the meta is going to be shifting a lot towards Priest and Mage, and so I don't think this card will see a ton of play in the immediate future. Next up, we've got Metamorphosis. This is basically a 7 mana Pyroblast for your odd Demon Hunter builds or your aggressive Demon Hunter builds. Sign me up. This goes face, and I like it. Next up, we've got Kane Sun Fury. So this is the charge legendary that Leroy basically died for, right? That everybody jokes about, which basically makes all your friendly attacks ignore taunt, which means your face as well. This card, initially is just a solid aggressive minion. Okay, so it's pretty good in your aggressive Demon Hunter builds. But this card's also giving me a little bit of like Warsong Commander vibes, right? Because when everything can hit your face, That's asking for some dumb combos to happen. It's going to take some brewing, but I'm sure there's a potential combo out there in Wild with Kane's Sun Fury for some pretty crazy OTKs. All right, so that was basically it for the Demon Hunter cards that were revealed already as, part of the expansion. So let's move on to the cards that are going to be part of the Classic and Initiate set that have been revealed. So let's start off with Soul Cleave. This card's not good. Yeah? Alright, moving on. Chaos Strike. So this is potentially playable in a combo Demon Hunter deck. 2-mana draw attached to removal potentially. Could see play if you're desperate. Next up we've got Eldrachi Warblades. Not good. Next up we've got Coordinated Strike. This is an okay control card. I think the only time this will be seeing play is in like a slow, not maybe a slow, but like a control combo deck, right? As part of stall, it's like removal, and then combo with Feast of Souls, which we'll talk about later. We've got Chaos Nova, so this is, I think, a little bit of a better Hellfire. I don't know if this sees play off, as part of your 30 card deck, but I think this card's going to see a ton of play off of Zephyrus. Because this is going to be part of that classic set, I think, and so you will be able to get this off of Zephyrus. Next up, we've got Satyr Overseer. So this is potentially okay in a Zooey Demon Hunter build, but it seems kind of slow because a 4-2 body is really bad, honestly, and so I don't think it'll see a ton of play, and if it is seeing play, I don't foresee that Zooey Demon Hunter build actually maybe being that good. It reminds me a lot of the little pirate, the 2-mana 2-2 pirate, and that isn't good and shouldn't be seeing play anyways, so I highly doubt this will see play. Next up, we've got Shadowhoof Slayer. So this is just a really solid one-drop, and I think it'll see a play in a variety of aggressive Demon Hunter builds. Next up, we've got Glavebound Adept. So this is an odd Demon Hunter Smork, really aggressively statted minion, and that 4 damage is not just purely directed at face, it can also be used to hit minions. 5 mana 7/4 is really, really aggressively statted. I kind of like it. Probably only sees play in that like Smork, Odd Hunter, or demons and hunters, and it's really hard to keep them separate. In that odd Demon Hunter build, I think it has the potential, probably will very easily get outclassed, but right now I think it looks like it slots in pretty nicely in that Demon Hunter aggressive build. Next up, we've got Blur. So when I initially saw this, I thought it was a 0-mana timeout, and I almost lost my mind. But this is like a combo with your hero getting attacked. I don't really think that it's worth a deck slot, in my opinion, so I don't think it'll see a lot of play. The only place to consider this is if you're running Auctioneer in your cycle combo deck, where this might see play with those small buff your attack spells. Yeah, we'll see. Twin Slice. So this is the other part of that Auctioneer cycle card in combo Demon Hunter builds. I don't know what the combo in Demon Hunter is yet, but there probably is one. So keep these cards in mind with Gadgets and Auctioneer. Alright, next up we have Mana Burn. So this is a really interesting card. Seems solid in aggressive Demon Hunter builds to stop your opponents from playing stuff like Reno or answering with a Zeph. Probably will see play. It's a really unique effect, and I kind of really like this effect as like temporary disruption for your opponent. Again, this is probably one of those last cards you slot into your decks, but it could be a really cute tech card for those aggressive Demon Hunter builds. Next up, we've got Urzul Horror. This card's just plainly not good enough for Wild. So next up, we have Umberwings, basically a baby Muster for Battle. Might be good enough to see play because Muster for Battle was absolutely busted, and this is just slightly worse, which means it might still be good enough to see play in Wild. Next up, we've got Command the Illidari. So this is basically a slightly better coordinated strike, where it'll see play in that stall combo deck with Feast of Souls, but without Feast of Souls, I don't think this card's good enough to run on its own. Next up, we've got Battle Fiend. So this is a scaling one-drop that I never thought we would see again in Hearthstone. This card's really good, and we'll see tons of play. Next up, we've got Consume Magic. So Consume Magic is 1 mana silence with the potential to draw a card, which is pretty good. So Demon Hunter's getting a lot of stall and draw. So keep an eye out for the combo deck that arises, or the combo decks that could arise with Demon Hunter. Again, don't know what the combo is, but they're getting a lot of good cards that cycle and stall together in one card, which is kind of important and relevant. So next up, we've got Hulking Overfiend. So this is an 8-mana better Batterhead, but Batterhead saw almost 0 play in Wild, and so don't expect this to see play unless you can reliably cheat it out somehow. So then we have Blade Dance. So this is basically balanced Blade Flurry. We haven't seen too many give your hero attack cards that are good and playable. So I don't think this card is good enough with the current set of cards that we have that buff people's attack, or Demon Hunter's attack. So next up we have Feast of Solstice. This is the card that we've been talking about a lot. So this card is nuts draw, because you can very easily draw 3 to 6 cards off of this when played in combination with other cards or an existing board state. I think this card will and probably should see a lot of play. Next up we have Eldari Fellblade. So a 5-mana or a 5/3 with Rush for 4 mana isn't that great, but if you can outcast it, it's definitely playable. But it's pretty trash if you're not outcasting it. It's basically just 4 mana Fireball, or not even Fireball, like remove 4 mana, deal 5. That doesn't really cut it, I don't think. But if you can reliably outcast it, which I'm not sure how you can. So yeah, because of the fact that it's not great, which if you don't outcast it, I don't think it'll see a lot of play. We've got Raging Fell Screamer. So this is the 1 mana cheat demon that we've seen so far for Demon Hunter. It's solid stats, 4 mana 4/4. It's an okay mana cheat effect, discounting by 2. That means you get your big boy demons out on like turn 7. It's a lot slower than Warlock, so this definitely sees play if you want to play the big demons in Demon Hunter. But I'm definitely not convinced that that's what you want to do at this point. All right, so we also have Soul Split. So this is another synergy card for the big demons. It's all right. What it is it's basically a faceless manipulator that's a lot less flexible for just 1 mana discount. Because of the fact that it's a lot less flexible for the 1 mana discount, and the fact that we don't have a ton of big demon synergy that looks really good yet, I don't think this sees a ton of play. Next up, we have Wrathscale Naga. Soul Juggler's in constructed now. Yikes. But with only 1 health, it seems kind of not playable. Random enemy does mean that it can go face, which is kind of cool. And it's maybe a finisher of some sort of a Demon Hunter Zooey build, but the fact that it has 1 health is super spooky and really makes me tentative to say that this card's good. Next up we have I-Beam. So this reminds me a lot of Vendetta in Rogue, where it's pretty nuts tempo if it goes off for 0 mana. However, this is a lot harder for it to go off for 0 because you have to outcast it, so it's got to be on the far left of your hand, or you have to top deck it basically. And so while it's a really cool effect, I don't think it's nearly consistent enough to be 0 mana, so I don't think you'll see a lot of play. Alright, next up we have Wrathspike Brute. So this is a pretty solid defensive minion for Demon Hunter, the 5 mana taunt. It reminds me a lot of Despicable Dreadlord, which was, one of the staple cards in stuff like Renalock, and saw flexing into Q-Block when we saw a ton of Odd Paladin in the meta. So I think it probably sees play. And last but finally not least, we have Flame Reaper. So this is basically a 4 attack cleave for 7 mana, which seems really, really powerful if we somehow get back into a board-based meta. And so this is basically 3 Flame Strikes on a stick. Currently we're not in a board-based meta like I talked about, but if we ever get back into it, it's really, really good. Okay, so I would be happy if you open it, and I would keep him and not dust him just in case we end up back to even Shaman and Odd Paladin being super meta. Alright, so we've talked a lot about Demon Hunter for forever now. Let's go ahead and move on to some of the new cards for our existing classes. Alright, let's start with Druid. Imprisoned Satyr. So this gets pulled off of Oaken, has no immediate impact. We have Aviana combos already that are tutored by Juicy Scythe Melon. I'm not excited about this. I don't think it'll see a ton of play. Another card, though, that I think will see a ton of play is Fungal Fortunes. Druid decks already run so few minions anyways, usually only like 4 or 5, like even a J Druid. So this is going to basically be 2 mana draw 3 so much of the time. This card is nuts. It's basically like Book of Specters that draws a ton of cards. This should enable some broken stuff and should make Druid a lot faster and a lot more consistent. I think this card is one of the best cards we've seen so far. We'll see a ton of play and should enable some broken stuff. Next up we have Marsh Hydra, too expensive, terrible effect. Arcspore Mischiefin, so 3/4 taunt isn't terrible stats. The Prime is a really powerful effect that's pretty expensive at 10 mana though. This card probably just slots into something like Taunt Druid or Reno Druid, but doesn't go into your normal like Jade Druid or any other kind of Druid builds. All right, moving on to Hunter, we have Scavenger's Ingenuity. So this is basically a combo Hunter card, drawing a specific beast from your deck. So basically, think Duin's Knuckle Hunter. Otherwise, I don't think this card's good enough on its own because we have 3-mana draw 3 beast with Master's Call, which I think is a lot better. Augmented Porcupine. If Dispatch Coda didn't see play, this won't. It's way slower than that. Next up, we have Zixor Apex Predator. So the second half of this card is the really interesting part. This with something like Ingenuity could be really cute, or maybe make Emerus playable. An 8-mana 2020 worth of stats is definitely playable if the deck's not absolutely memey. So maybe, figure out a way to sneak this into something like Reno Hunter, or maybe a combo Hunter dedicated to this. And last but not least for Hunter, we have Beastmaster Leorox. This card looks absolutely busted in a Katharina build with like Crush and Devil Swords and other big beast. This is another insane tempo swing on turn 8 for Hunter with potential face damage, so I think it sees a ton of play. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking to revisit those old standard cube lists that ran the big beast package with Katharina, because that's really what I want to do with this is, okay, well, if I draw my beast before I draw Katharina, then I can at least play Beastmaster Leorox, or I can play it with something like beasts that I've gotten from Deathstalker Rexar, play them and hit people in the face, or at least use it to clear the board, right? So I think this is the card for Hunter that I'm the most excited about, and I think it probably will see play. Alright, moving on to Mage, we have Imprisoned Observer. So 2 damage AoE on turn 5 is pretty irrelevant in the format, and so probably doesn't see a ton of play, even though it has pretty decent stats. We have Epexis Smuggler. I saw a lot of people talking about this one, but I think this card's way too slow for Secret Mage. Secret Mage doesn't need the value, and I really don't see it displacing the really contested 2-drop slot, because you have a bunch of really good cards already in that slot. And if it can't displace those, I see no reason to cut other cards for these either. Like, it doesn't really fit the game plan of Secret Mage, so I don't think it sees play. Apex's Blast. So I'm going to reserve my judgment on this card until I've seen the other support cards for this potential new archetype of no minions. A 5-mana Firelands Portal tempo swing, though, is pretty insane. So if this can reliably come out on turn 5 or turn 6, I think this card's pretty good. But again, I'm going to wait until I see the other support cards for this potentially new archetype. Astromancer Solarian. This card's playable in the first half, 2-mana, 3/2, decent stats with spell damage. And then pretty busted in the second half. It's a 7-mana, 7/7 with spell damage with a targeted Yogg. It targets enemies with the random spells. People are playing Yogg again and Druid just because it's an oh shit button where I can use it to clear the board and draw some cards, right? If I need to. And the fact that this is targeted Yogg and most mage spells deal damage or clear the board or draw cards should be really, really good, right? So I think this card will see a lot of play in varieties of Reno Mage in Wild. And then with Evocation, I really hate this card already. Stop with the Created by Blizzard. Like, it's actually so annoying to play against. I don't even care if it's good enough to see play in optimal lists, because even if it's not, people are going to generate this all the time. And I hate losing to it already, and I'm done talking about it, and we're going to go next. Talking about Paladin, Underlight, Angling Rod. So this is basically Ankar for Murloc Paladin decks. So it's refill, which is good, which is what Murloc Paladin wants, but it's random Murlocs instead of ones that you put in your deck. The average random Murloc is really bad, and you can't upgrade this to get more charges out of it. I don't think this sees play. Next up, but then we have Lady Liadrin. So this is the top end, another top end card, like Linessa, to that Quest Galvadon Paladin deck. So with all these support cards, Galvadon Paladin has to be good eventually, right? Eventually the card's gonna be busted. I think it's solid though, and it's probably not gonna go in other decks, as I can see it. We don't really have any other Paladin archetypes other than aggressive Paladin decks that are super meta. So Lady Liadrin, while it's good in that one deck, it's not going to change, the no other new archetypes for Paladin. All right, so the lone priest card that we've seen so far is Dragonmaw Overseer. So they want priest to not be this mid-range archetype or class that buffs and keeps minions alive with health buffs and healing. I like this card as basically a more beefy Shadow Ascendant. So just imagine carving 1-drop like Northshire Cleric into 2-mana Shadow Ascendant into 3-mana Dragonmaw Overseer and just kind of snowballing the board with these buffs. I like this card. It's nothing flashy. However, the fact that it's nothing flashy probably means it doesn't see a ton of play because I don't really see this, board-based buff priest deck really coming together yet. So I'm not too hype about that. All right, let's talk about Rogue. We've got a lot of Rogue cards to talk about. We have Ambush. This is the best Rogue secret so far. I like it. If you're playing a Tempo Secret Rogue, you really want this card because it's pretty insane. Speaking of insane, Blackjack Stunner. This is the only reason so far to play a Tempo Secret Rogue. It's basically targeted Freezing Trap, which is nuts. If this is a pirate, I would be absolutely in love, but it's probably pretty good that it's not a pirate for balance reasons. But if you're playing Secrets and Rogue, 100,000% you need to be playing this card. It's pretty good. We have a Kama, so this is the prime card for Rogue. It's pretty cute. I think it should probably slot into Odd Rogue, which is nothing super flashy, but I think it's just a solid card. Probably a potential combo with the Stealth and Cold Bloods and maybe Zeph for Wind Fury in Arena Rogue list if you're about that kind of life. And then we have Shadow Jeweler Hanar. This card's really reminiscent of something like Grand Lackey Urk, which was terrible and wild, which should tell you everything that you need to know about this one. It's pretty bad. All right, moving on to Shaman, we have Torrent. Is this another new theme for Shaman? One of those like small underlining themes. I'm looking for maybe some more other synergy cards to come out with this set. But 2 mana dealing 8 seems pretty decent in like a Reno shell or a Shutterwalk shell. Maybe, so I would wait until we see the other cards, but could see a ton of play. Next up we have Bogstrut Clacker. This is just a really solid tempo play card. Value trade your minions, and then evolve them, which is kind of insane. It slots pretty great into that tempo evolve Shaman shell with Desert Hare and Doppelgangsters and evolves. Should be fun to play, should be really annoying to play against. And then we have Bog Spine Knuckles, so basically the same thing with card. But I do worry that this card's really, really expensive for the effect that you want. And because it's 5 mana, I don't think it's going to see a ton of play. We have Lady Vaj. This is another card that's probably good for those Arena Shaman or Shutterwalk Shaman decks. But I also think that this is a pretty solid finisher for a deck like Aggro Shaman or a Tempo Evolve Shaman deck to draw your burn and finish off your opponent with Lava Burst or Crackles. It's also 3 mana. So Odd Shaman finally getting enough support. I'm just kidding. And then last but not least for Shaman, we have the Lurker Below. I had a kind of tough time evaluating this card because I wasn't really too sure. It's a pretty unique effect. And it synergizes really, really nicely, actually, though, with the Corrupt the Waters Battlecry quest, which sees a lot of play in Reno Shaman and Shutterwalk Shaman decks. So it probably just slots into that deck as kind of like a 6 mana removal on a stick. And as we see with Reno the Relicologist, that card's really, really good and really annoying to play against. And so this card has probably the potential to be pretty broken. But because it's kind of a brand new effect, it's really hard to evaluate it, though, until we play with it. So I am excited about it, though, but just a little bit of hesitation on the excitement. All right, going on to Warlock, we have Dark Portal. Darkest Hour Warlock is probably the only place that I can see this potentially seeing play, because it makes it a little bit less painful if you don't draw your combo while kind of thinning your deck to draw your combo. Maybe Mechathane runs it, but they don't really have a problem with needing discounts or drawing through their deck. So I don't think this card will see a ton of play. And if it does, I'm not really looking forward to the meta if it does see play. We have Imprisoned Scrap Imp. It's kind of a cute card. It wants to see play in a Zooey Warlock deck, but not developing on board when you're spending your mana. It doesn't feel like it in a Z deck, so I don't think it'll see play. And then we have Shadow Council. This seems like a great meme card. Watch out for the Raffle and Solemn memes with this one, but I don't think it's going to be a super competitive card. Moving on to Warrior, we have Warmar Challenger. I think this card's garbage unless you hand buff it, but because you're hand buffing, then yeah, no. We also have Kargath Blade Fist. This card's sick with Town Crier, though, both halves. And they're just really solid controlling the board tools. So maybe sees play in something like a Bomb Warrior or a Galakron Warrior. I kind of really just like this card. And then we have Bulwark of Azeroth. The only control deck in Wild for Warrior is Odd Warrior, and they have the hero power, so I don't really think they need this card. Maybe Dead Man's Hand Warrior wants this, but I don't play a ton of Dead Man's Hand Warrior, so I can't really tell you if this addresses some of the problems with the deck. So if you guys do play it, and you guys think this card's good, let me know in the comments below. Alright, We're going through these really quickly, okay? I hope this video is not getting too long. Let's move on to the neutral cards. We have Moarg Artificer. So it's a really unique effect, but I can't really see a deck that really wants this card that can also afford to run a 2-mana 2/4 demon. I wouldn't be surprised though if it did eventually see play in some sort of deck, because it's a really cool card. We have Terran Gorfine. This is just a really solid card with early death rattles like eggs or void colors. So make sure if you were a hunter or a warlock fan, look forward to opening this one out of your packs. Then we have Alar. So this is probably like the stable card for the name of the new Hearthstone here, the Phoenix Rising from the Ashes. Very thematic card. I actually really like it, and it looks really cool. On the surface though, it seems really bad, right? 5-mana 7/3, and it probably is. But I was thinking about this in a deck something like Odd Paladin or Odd Rogue, right? A control deck usually deals with this 5-mana 7/3 and your other minions by playing a sweeper. And so when they play the sweeper, you have the 0/3 Ashes that they have a hard time dealing with because they don't have a clean, easy answer for it. And so therefore the 7/3 is more than likely going to come back and be able to keep hitting your opponent in the face or keep putting pressure on them to have a removal or die, right? So I think this card actually has a lot more potential than it initially looks like. I don't think it'll be great, but I definitely want to play with it to make sure. And last but not least, we have Maiev Shadow Song. This is maybe the strongest card we've seen so far. This card's absolutely nuts, and it's if I'm a betting man, I would bet my money on this card being the first card that gets nerfed from this expansion. This is basically a sap effect for slower decks, right? So it buys you 2 turns until you can find your AoE cards to deal with the threat, right? So if they play a 7/7 on turn 3 or turn 4, you jam the Maiev, and you stall for 2 turns until you can play like a Light Bomb or Psychic Stream, right? If you're an aggro deck, you get to play this and you get rid of taunts so that you can keep pushing for face damage. And then I'm pretty sure that there's some dumb combo you can do with this, with stealthing like a Clockwork Automaton or a Prophet Velen or a Malagos, and then set up and then in 2 turns kill them with insane amounts of damage. So I'm sure there's a way to play with this regardless of what kind of archetype you enjoy playing. I think this card just absolutely freaking busted. I don't understand how this isn't busted, and I think this will see a ton of play. But yeah, that's it. We're done. That's the first big dump of card reveals. I try to get through them as quick as I could. Again, if you think I missed anything about any of these cards, or you just agree with me, or there's a synergy that I missed, or anything like that, make sure or if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys leave a comment down below. Just a reminder to drop a sub here on the YouTube channel if you guys enjoy it. It's completely free, and it's a lot of support for me, and you'll get notified for new videos if you guys did enjoy stuff like this. I appreciate y'all watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. I hope y'all enjoyed. Hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you guys in the next card review video. Later, guys.